They thought I was done, didn't they? They watched me fall, and smiled, turned their backs, whispered lies, celebrated like it was over, like I was over. They saw the silence, and mistook it for surrender. They saw the wounds, and called them weakness. But what they never saw was the fire still burning behind these eyes. They pointed their fingers, laughed from their towers, thinking they were untouchable, safe in the illusion of victory. But they forgot one thing. The man they buried wasn't broken. He was becoming something else. Something worse. Because betrayal doesn't break me. It sharpens me. It strips away the softness and leaves behind only the edge. The blade. They didn't end me. They forged me. And now, every breath I take is a warning. Every heartbeat, a countdown. They should have made sure I stayed down. Because now, I'm coming back. And when I do, I won't come as the man they once knew. I'll come as the reckoning they never saw coming. You don't know pain until silence becomes your only companion. Until your name becomes a curse whispered behind closed doors by the same mouths that once praised you. They didn't just turn away. They erased me, scrubbed me from the story like I never mattered. But I remember the cold, the weight of betrayal pressing down like iron chains. Every breath, a war. Every sunrise, a punishment. There was no light, no voices, no rescue. Just the echo of their laughter, and the sound of my own heart, slowing, but never stopping. They thought they buried me. But what they really did was leave me in the dark long enough to see things clearly. The truth? No one's coming to save you. Not your friends. Not your gods. Not the voices you once trusted. The world doesn't mourn the fallen. It forgets them. But in that silence, I learned something. I learned that rock bottom isn't the end. It's the foundation. The place where fear dies and fury is born. It's where you stop asking why and start sharpening your teeth. They thought I was broken. But you can't break what's already been shattered. You can only reshape it. And that's exactly what I did. In the darkness, I became something else. Not a victim. Not a man. A force. Silent. Cold. Patient. Because while they slept easy, believing I was gone, I was learning. Waiting. Becoming. The fall didn't destroy me. It defined me. They built the pit to end me. But all they did was dig their own grave. At first, it was just a flicker, a thought, a whisper. What if this wasn't the end? What if everything they did to break me only showed me what I was truly made of? They took everything, burned it, laughed while the ashes fell. But beneath those ashes, something lived. Not hope. Not forgiveness. Fire. I stopped thinking about the past. Stopped asking why. I started preparing. Every scar became a blueprint. Every memory, a weapon. Their betrayal wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of theirs, their downfall. I stopped bleeding, started building, started seeing the truth. They fear silence, because silence means planning. They fear stillness, because stillness means control. And I've never been more in control than I am now. You see, they created the monster, but they never asked what the monster would become once it learned to wait, once it learned to think. I didn't just survive, I evolved. The fire didn't burn me alive. It forged me, piece by piece, layer by layer, and every second, they believed I was gone. I was building the storm. They fed it with every lie, every smirk. Every time, they spoke my name like it was a joke. That spark? It's not a spark anymore. It's a furnace now, burning hotter than anything they've ever faced. And soon, they'll feel it. This is no outburst, no tantrum. This is focused destruction. The kind that doesn't scream. It waits, and then it devours. There comes a moment when you stop trying to fix what was broken. When you stop reaching back for the version of yourself that died in the fire they lit. You stop mourning. Stop hoping. Stop pretending. And you accept the truth. You were never meant to return as who you were. You were meant to become something else. I shed the skin of who I used to be. The man they betrayed. The one who believed in loyalty, in mercy, in justice. He's gone. What remains is not interested in fairness, not concerned with balance, not here to forgive. What remains is what they created. A weapon with a memory, a force with purpose, a monster with nothing left to lose. They thought they were burying weakness, but they buried the last shred of restraint I had left. Now, I don't bleed. I don't beg. I don't explain. I move in silence. I plan in shadows. I strike when it hurts the most. You thought you could break me, but all you did was burn away the limits. You freed the thing I kept locked away, the part of me built for war. I gave you chances, gave you time. You mistook that for mercy. But mercy was the last illusion I let go of when I embraced the dark. So no, I'm not coming back. As the man you knew, that man died. What's coming now is the version of me you were never prepared to face. No heart, no hesitation, no humanity left to reach. Only the shadow, only the reckoning, only the monster you built with your own hands. I didn't charge back in. I didn't scream. I didn't roar. I waited. Because real vengeance isn't loud. It's precise. While they laughed, I learned. While they celebrated, I sharpened. Every day they spent forgetting me, I spent becoming unforgettable. They thought I was gone, but I was in the silence, listening, watching, studying their every move. You don't win by being angry. You win by being prepared. I mapped their weaknesses, watched who they trusted, memorized their habits, their patterns, their flaws. I found every crack in their armor, not to break them right away, but to make them think they were still safe. I want them comfortable. I want them smiling, feeling powerful, untouchable. Because that's when the fall hurts the most. When the ground beneath you shatters and you realize too late it was never solid. I'll take my time, not because I need to, but because it makes them squirm. Let them trust their allies. Let them worship their status. Let them believe their illusions of control. I'll infect it all, from the inside out. Turn their allies into liabilities. Turn their pride into a blindfold. Turn their victories into traps. They won't see it coming, because I won't knock on the front door. I'll be in their systems, their shadows, their minds, long before they even realize they're being dismantled. This isn't revenge. This is demolition. And when I strike, there will be no warning, no build-up, no second chances, just silence, followed by everything they built crumbling beneath their feet. That's the beauty of preparation. It doesn't shout. It waits. And then it ends you. I didn't announce my return. I didn't come with drums or banners. I came with silence. And that silence was louder than any war cry. They felt it first. Not in their ears, but in their bones. The unease, the shift in the air, the sudden weight pressing down on their chests. They couldn't explain it, but they knew something was coming. Their victories started unraveling. Small things at first. A deal collapsed. A trusted friend disappeared. Whispers spread like rot in their ranks. They blamed bad luck, blamed each other. They never thought to blame me. Not yet. I moved like a shadow, struck where it hurt, but never deep enough to kill. Not yet. This wasn't about ending them. It was about making them realize they were already bleeding, and they didn't know why. Panic set in. They scrambled for control, called in favors, tightened their circles. But the tighter they pulled, the more I slipped through the cracks. Like smoke, like poison. Like something they couldn't fight, because they couldn't understand it. They started asking questions. Who's behind this? Why is this happening? Where is he? And then, the moment came. They saw the symbol. A mark, only I would leave. A message, carved not in stone, but in fear. It wasn't loud. It didn't scream. It just said, I'm back. The same people who mocked me now whispered my name like it was cursed. The ones who stood above me started looking over their shoulders, because they knew this wasn't a rumor, wasn't a ghost story. It was real, and it was coming for them. They thought I would die forgotten, but I returned unforgettable. Not as a man, not as a memory, as a reckoning.
The first blow was never meant to kill. It was meant to send a message. And they heard it, loud and clear. But instead of surrendering, they resisted. Fools. They still believed in their power, in their status, in the illusions they built from lies and stolen victories. They rallied their allies. They called in their favors. They whispered about fighting back. But they were already at war, and they didn't even know what they were fighting. I didn't storm the gates. I collapsed the foundation, one betrayal at a time. One turned friend, one corrupted piece of their empire. While they stood tall, on crumbling ground, I was already beneath them, pulling every support beam from below. Their messages stopped getting answered. Their meetings turned into arguments. Their allies grew silent. Their soldiers grew suspicious. And still, they clung to control. Because when empires fall, the last to know are always the kings.
I didn't need armies. I became the army. I was in their systems, in their minds, in the cracks of every lie they told. And then I hit them, where it hurt the most. Their pride. I leaked their secrets, destroyed their reputation, took their strength, and turned it against them. And the people who once feared them laughed. Because power is only power until someone shows the world how hollow it really is. They started saying my name again. Not with arrogance, but with caution. The myth was real now. The monster had returned. And every second, they held on to their crumbling thrones. They were just giving me more time to finish what I started. I moved faster, hit harder, tore down everything they once called untouchable. Their wealth? Gone. Their alliances? Broken. Their image? Shattered. And through it all, I never showed my face. Because this war wasn't about being seen. It was about being felt. They wanted a war. Now they're in one. But it's not the kind they prepared for. There are no rules in the dark. No mercy. No heroes. Just me. And the ruins I leave behind. It always ends like this. Not with fire. Not with noise. But with silence. The kind of silence that wraps around your throat and reminds you you're alone. They called for help. No one came. They reached for allies, found empty hands. They looked to their armies, but those armies had turned to dust, blown away by the same wind they once believed carried their banners. Power was their god. But gods don't answer prayers. When the temples start to burn, their pride? Gone. Their riches? Scattered. Their name? Poison. Now they sit in the ruins of everything they swore would never fall. And all they can do is look around and ask where everyone went. They left. Because no one stands beside a falling tower when the shadow grows too long. No one dies for kings who bleed like beggars. They made their choices, lied their lies, burned every bridge to build their throne. And now they sit on it, alone, cold, surrounded by ghosts of loyalty they crushed beneath their boots. Let them weep. Let them scream. Let them finally feel the weight of everything they denied. This isn't punishment. It's clarity. They were never strong. They were never gods. They were just men who thought they could escape consequence. You finally see me. No armies. No banners. No masks. Just me. The one you betrayed. The one you mocked. The one you thought you buried beneath your lies. Look at me. You recognize the face, but not the eyes. Because the man you once knew died the moment you turned your back. What stands before you now is the consequence, not a rival, not a rebellion, a result. Your result. You tried to kill a man. Instead, you carved out a monster. You wanted silence. You got a storm. You wanted me erased. But now I'm etched into everything you fear. You built this with every lie, every smirk, every whisper behind closed doors. You thought you could control the narrative, that you were the author of my ending. But you were just writing your own. I didn't need to destroy you to prove a point. You did it yourself. You dug your own grave. Stone by stone. Greed by greed. Lie by lie. All I did was hold up the mirror. And now, you can't look away. You wanted mercy? You used it all up. The day you mistook my patience for weakness. You thought silence meant surrender. But I was never silent. I was listening. And now, I speak. I'm not here for negotiation. Not here for peace. Not here to remind you of what you've lost. I'm here to make sure you remember why you lost it. Because when your world collapses, when the last pillar falls, and the dust chokes out the sun, you'll know exactly who stood over the wreckage. And you'll remember these words. You did this. And I finished it. It's over now. The noise has stopped. The dust has settled. The towers have fallen. And I stand alone at the summit they said I'd never reach. No applause. No crowds. Just the silence they left me with. Returned. Tenfold. They called me a monster. They'll keep calling me one. Because monsters are remembered. Heroes fade. Their stories rot in history books. But monsters? Monsters become legends. Scars on the world that never quite fade. I didn't do this for glory. I didn't come for crowns or cheers. I came for truth. I came for vengeance. I came to become something they could never bury again. And I did. They'll tell stories about this. They'll twist it. Rewrite it. Paint me as the villain. Let them. Because I don't need to be the hero. I just needed to be remembered. This wasn't about them. It was about me. About proving that I can rise. From ashes. From betrayal. From silence. And become the storm they swore would never come. So let them look around. Let them sit in the ruin and wonder where it all went wrong. Let them whisper my name with fear in their voices. Let them teach their children never to make the same mistake. Because when I left, I didn't just destroy what they built. I became what they feared. And I'll live there, in the shadow they see. Every time they close their eyes. No need to chase them anymore. No need to fight. I already won. They'll remember me. And that's enough.